always wanted to go to Paris, and what better way to go there with a Citroen DS? And it's always been something I always wanted to do. And we're about to make that dream a reality. Just don't let the car know, but it'll be Paris, Texas. It's about 2 hours and a half away from me. The goal here is to finish this semi-restoration of a 1972 Citroen DS and then drive it all the way to Paris, Texas. This is a US model Citroen DS. It's 1972. It is the final year right before Citroen left the market here in the United States. It also won I would say 72 is the first year where they had the changes on the doors. They used to have a push button, and then they switched over to these flush style handles. This is a running and driving car. I bought this car, I would say 3 years ago, from Minnesota, and I have been using it as a running around car around town and so on and so forth. Last year, it finally died on me. It turned out the fuel pump finally just gave up, and I put it away in for winter storage. Originally, the plan was just to replace the fuel pump, which I did. It's already been replaced. But to get to it, I took off a few things I probably didn't have to. At that point, I was already committed to it and decided, let's do a partial restoration. So, all the panels came off. The car is being painted in this blue color, this metallic pearl blue. Since this is the US model, this one does not have the turning headlights. It is a manual transmission. This is actually a D special. So it doesn't have the champagne pedal, or excuse me, the mushroom pedal. And it has a 4-speed on the column. So far, the restoration has been going pretty simple, or more like a refreshing. There hasn't been any rust on it. All the wires are still there. It does need to be some wiring on the front end. It has the classic black wire breakdown. And yeah, everything on it has been pretty straightforward. There's the cloth seats. The original color for this car, it was a bronze color based on the tag in the engine bay. But when I got it, it has already switched over to, it was painted black with a red roof. And as I was taking the paint off the panels, some of them were green, some were white. I think one was red. One of the most unique thing about a Citroen is that it is a panel on body design. So what that means is the only thing that's structural are areas like there, the frame that you can see right there. The doors are not, the floor is, but the doors are not, the trunk is not. None of those panels are structural. You see the engine bay here. I took off the wings and the hood, and they all come off very easily. Doesn't take much to take them off. The doors, when you take the doors off another car, you always open a can of worms about how to realign and everything. But on a DS, it's very simple. It has a little cup and ball design that just slides right over here, and then you tighten one bolt down here. And in the back, it has a stopper. These have disconnect also. But all in all, the doors come off really quickly. This is something I've actually been wanting to do for a while. I just needed an excuse just to start disassembling it. There's still a few things here also on the engine that need to go over. The transmission has an issue, and that's really about it there. The tires in the front are the wrong sizes, but they're actually new and they do work. They'll stay on for a bit more. Eventually, though, I would just like to replace the front tires. The rear tires are the right size and are also fairly new. Interior-wise, the red seats are fine. They're a little scratchy, but they're comfortable. Main thing is just add a radio in the front and maybe a new carpet. That would be nice. I did buy some of the side trim. Unfortunately, because these cars, because of the panel on body design, you often see here, at least in the US models, panels swapped around. So I had one panel that's a Palazzo edition. It had the tinted glass, the chrome embellishment, the stainless steel embellishment, and the trim on the side trim. Then I have another one like this door here, which this one does have it. Well, on the other side, it was the other side. It doesn't have the holes for the side trim because it didn't have it. And on the rear fenders, there's supposed to be a piece of trim with a reflector, and it loops around and touches the side trims. Without that, it just kind of ends abruptly instead of making a nice complete finish. But I'm gonna put them on either way, just because all the doors have some holes on it. It makes it easier than trying to weld up the holes. So what I'm currently working on right now is the driver's side door. As you have it in primer, it does have several dents. Originally I had just painted the door, and afterwards it looked really bad. I was being lazy and hoping you wouldn't see all the dents. But there's one thing about painting is everything is your prep work. Whatever you don't do will show up in the paint, and that's exactly what I did. So we're starting over. I'll be just going through it. I'm doing some guide coat to mark out where the dents are at, and I'll be filling those in. We also have a rear door here that I'm working on. This one was in a very rough shape. I had to put some fiberglass on the bottom, but overall it came out very nice. The doors are not important again. Like I said, these are non-structural. If you were in Europe, you would just find one and swap it out, and paint it and swap out. Here in the US, though, unfortunately, don't have too many options. It seems actually too when there used to be a lot of these here in Texas, and the day I started working on it, I feel they all disappeared. They knew that somebody out there was going to scour it for parts. Either way, so only thing left on doing this one is just scuff it up, and it's really should be good for paint. I may add a little bit of film on this side because it looks really bad right there. Fill that up, make it look more presentable. But first, I'm going to throw a guide coat on this panel. And for guide coat, I like to use this right here. It's called a dry coat. A dry guide coat is a powder base. This one is from Kovacs. 3M makes one. I think Mirka makes one. And they are fairly expensive. But this one wasn't too bad. I think it was $20 when I bought it. And it works real simple. You just slide it across. Like so. Put it back here, the pad, and you just flip it over. Get some powder on it, and pretty cheap, and I find it more effective than using the spray can method. So, what I want to do here is I'm just going to add my dry coat. I know where all the dents really are. I don't want to take off more than I need to. They're all really concentrated to around this area and this area. I'm not going for a perfect since this is more, it's not going to be a concourse job at all. I don't have that ability. This really just guy in the garage, or rather a workshop, trying to get it'll probably look nice. It'll be a lot better than what it was still. But there we go. So I know on this side there isn't any dents there, so it'll be okay. And same for that part. I know for most part it's going to be concentrated into this area. So I'm going to add a little bit more, and then when I get back, I'll start sanding. Alright, so I added some more guide coats, and I'm just going to sand it with a 220 grit. Just block sand it. We'll go real quick on this. I know sanding is pretty boring, but I just want to show you how using this dry coat, how well it works. So generally 220 is a little too fine for this. You will use something a little coarser, maybe 150. This most is just that I have a lot of 220 left. But you see right there, just by sanding, you can see exactly where the dent is. It's all right here in this area. I guess I should say a disclaimer. I am no way a professional. I'm just a hobbyist who's doing this, and hopefully we learn together. We're just picking on, instead of something a little easier, we're working on a DS. So you see where we have our low spots right now. So right here. This is not too important on this part because the trim covers this whole area. It covers from right here all the way across. So these low spots I'm not really concerned about. The only ones I am is gonna be like this one right here, and once you get to it, there'll be one right here. So I'll go ahead and fast forward. I'm gonna go ahead and just continue sanding, and we'll show you the results right here soon. Right, so that was about 15 minutes of block sanding, and you can see we have nice powder on the floor, and this is the results. As you can see, we have our big one right there. Right next to it, there's also another dent. There's a lot right here. That's all the trim. Like I said, for the most part, I'm not going to touch that except maybe this part right here. But everything else on that part is fine. The trim will cover it. I did break through the primer right here and right here, but that's okay. I'm going to do something a little different. Rather than just throw a filler, I have a case of feather fill I bought a while back that I really want to just get rid of. I'm going to try using that first. I'm going to see if I can fill in these dents just using feather fill. It's actually probably the seeding way out, but we'll see. We'll give it a try. If not, then we'll go ahead and do the old-fashioned fill and sand. Now, when you're using feather fill, the main thing you want to do is, they do tell you not to have any bare metal. I think it says 1 inch is the very minimum, or excuse me, the very maximum bare metal area. We got around 2 areas. I'm not too concerned. I think what I'll do is, I really just want to concentrate on this area. When you use feather fill, you just want to throw it in the areas you need. So for me, it's right here and right here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to spread mostly in those 2 areas. And if something gets here, that's fine. I can sand it off. Not a big deal. After feather fill, we block sand again, and then we seal it, and it's ready for paint. Assuming, of course, everything works and it's nice and straight. We'll see. I think it will cover almost all of it, except probably this one right here. This is pretty deep. And there's one right here. It's a high spot. It may not cover that one, but I think for the most part, everything should be okay. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and sand this one, prep it, because I'm going to throw feather fills on this area right here. I want to fill in all these little holes. It's actually metal. It's some of the remnants of the fiberglass. Alright, so they sold the repair area right here. This is a very common rust area for the DS's. this whole metal trim here with a seal. It's a weathering seal for the doors. It usually gets stuck with trash, dirt, mud, water, whatever, and will start rusting this area. And of course right here, there's only 3 drain tubes, usually about like right here, and then one more here. They're pretty small. They get clogged up very easily. When you ever look at a DS, take a look at the doors underneath. Again, it's not too critical because, like I said, they're a cosmetic piece rather than a structural. The biggest thing on it is that here in the US, it can be very difficult to find a door. If you were in Europe, it's not a problem. In Europe, the doors are, Citroen parts are plentiful. You'll find one, and like I said, they're very easy to swap, and it makes the painting much easier also on these. So I'm not spraying the whole thing on this with feather fill. I'm just going to do this area and this here in the bottom. I just want to clean it up. For the most part on this repair, this part's okay. It's just my bad filler work. That's why it has things like that there. Here was a very rough area. And I just put a fiberglass sheet over. I still need to drill out the drain holes, but that will actually take care of it, and it should last for another 15-20 years. But at least it'll give you time, or at least me time, to find a new door to replace it with. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and sand this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I'll start mixing up feather fill. And so this is feather fill. It is a primer surfacer. The next one after this is called slick sand, and that's the one that is often known as a spray-on bondo. This one also is pretty thick. You have to be careful when using it. It mixes at 1 quart to 1 hardener. So you get 4 of these when you buy it, and so you get 4 quarts to a gallon. The biggest thing on this is that it hardens quick. It takes about 30 minutes, and if you're not careful, you can easily lose your gun. That's why a lot of people use a throwaway gun, something that doesn't cost too much, $20 or so, just to get rid of it. And for me, what I'll be using is I have the PPS-1 system from Harbor Freight, the Spectrum. I'll be using that, and I will take off the filter screen on the strainer just because it's very thick and I just want to go right through. So I'll take that off, and I'm going to use my PPS 3M professional spray gun. This is a very handy spray gun. Here's a quick tip, you buy this adapter here. So this adapter is about $40, sometimes $30, and it just screws right on top of the throwaway nozzles. And this adapter will let you use the PPS-1 system. It's a good gun, don't get me wrong. The biggest problem I have with this is that the PPS 2.0 system is very expensive. A case of, I think, 50 cups and lids and these things here can set you back about $120. And since it's disposable, it goes by quick. The PPS-1 system is a lot more affordable. It's pretty much just $1 per liner and the cup here. The other thing too is these tips right here. They can be used several times as long as you clean them. Of course, it all depends on the material you use also. So this is a 2.0 tip. You can see right there. And I have used it already a few times. This will probably be the last time I use it. After this is done, I will throw it away. But I have 4 more tips left. When you buy these, they come in bags about 5. So 5 tips, or 5 or 6 tips in a bag, and they're about $30. The gun itself, though, they used to be very affordable when they first came out. They were about $200, $300. You can get it from around that range. Now they're about $3 to $4. But still very useful. If you can get a good deal on this, I highly recommend them, just because the tips, it is very professional. It's a good gun. Get this adapter, use the PPS-1 system, save some money there. And like I said, the tips here, they last a long time. The ones for paint, 20, 30 times. Primer, maybe 10. This one here, maybe like 4 or 5. But like I said, it's well worth the money. So I'll be using this. Another thing I'll be using is this thing here. So I buy this at Lowe's. They cost about $5 a piece. and they go straight on to the gallon, and it'll just an easy pour, no mess. For $5, you save a lot of paint. I also have my cleaning supplies right there ready, because even so, I do want to make sure that the needle and everything here is clean, and also that adapter is clean. Once I mix this and add the hardener, I'm on the clock, so you want to make sure everything's ready. So what I'll do is I'm going to shake this up some more. I'm going to pour it here, and then once that's ready, I am going to go ahead and get my mask, get my air set, and make sure everything's okay. Oh, and one last thing. So for feather fill, so you saw on the doors, I was sanding it with 220. That's right at the very end of the recommendation, between 80 and 220. 180, 150 I find works best. 220, I'm kind of playing on the high level. It was just mostly, like I said, I have a lot of 220. I'm really low on other grits, but it'll be okay. Alright, so I'm going to start shaking this up some more, and then I'm going to go ahead and get ready to start painting. Alright, so real quick. So I remember I said it's 1 quart to 1 tube of hardener for 1 quart. Well, as you can see here, our cup thing, it caps out at 20. So we'll do a half quart then. So it'll be around 16. So right there. Well, no, 15. It'll be right here, roughly. We'll hit 15, and then we'll throw half. And you can see here, there's a handy guide too on the hardener tubes. So, right there. And we'll use half the hardener, and we'll go to 15. I think that's easier. But there you go, see, that's how the spout goes. And what happens is when you pour it, it's just going to come straight out of here into here. No mess. It's nice and tight. Alright, so I want to go ahead and start mixing, and turn on the vent, get everything ready to go. Okay, all of that for nothing. Turns out the feather fill I had is too old now. I saw the liquid like this, I thought everything would be okay. And just before I did, I decided to get a stirring stick and see, and of course, you can see everything just gunked up. I've been shaking it, stirring it, trying to work it back, but I don't think it's going to work. So, all that stuff I said earlier, we can disregard that. Well, I'll have to go and just fill in the normal way. I'll mix some Bundo. No, yeah, I'll make some filler and just fill in those dents. And then go ahead and spray primer over it. Unfortunate, but it was a long shot. I had this can for a year now. I think a little bit over a year. And then we had this cold weather. Oh well. I'll go ahead and dispose of this. I got a bunch of hardener too. I'm just going to stick it in there, see what happens, and we'll just leave it. Let's try this again now. I always liked filler better than feather fill anyways, so here we are. This was the plan all along. Yeah. I'm using this one, it's just Yupo Fantastic. Bought it at O'Reilly's. It's about $40 for a gallon. Comes with its hardener. A very good, easy working filler. They also have a fiberglass one there, and it's also very good. If you need something in a pinch, I do recommend them. I used to always get Evercoat, but so they went up higher. Well, filler is fairly simple. You will take some filler out. I don't need too much. I'm just going to cover about 2 or 3 dents. Add our hardener, mix it, and then just put it on. I will go ahead and get this mixed together. I also am going to go back, and since I'm doing the filler route now instead, these areas right here, I plan to sand them down some more, try to get them to bare metal, just make it easier for the filler and easier just to level it out. So I'm just going to spot fill this area. There is an area right here that doesn't show very well. Right here, it's a high spot, so I'm going to go around here and just move that out. And then right here, there's one more. Right here. right there, that also needs some filler. So main thing I want to do now is just sand the areas I need to put the filler on. Go those to bare metal. I'm gonna go a little quicker on this. I'm gonna use my DA, just target those areas. It'll go by real quick, then I'll start putting the filler on. Okay, so, oh, and for the DA, I just use a regular palm sander. This does have the vacuum backing, and I will be using that. And for the vacuum, I just set up my shop vac right here. And this will take care of all dust. It works very well. We also have a surprise guest now. Here he is. He'll be leaving here soon because of... So you get what I'm doing. So you see right here, when I had the guide coat, there was a concentration of the powder still there. So I went down. It's actually bare metal. Same with that one right there. I found this one on this side and right here. So those are the areas I want to add filler to. Right there and right here and right here. Those are just above the trim. I took one piece of trim out and sected it. It won't cover those, so I would like to just straighten that out because it would be noticeable. Besides those two areas, we have one right here, but that's a pretty big dent, and that was caused by the door just opening too fast. I don't think I will touch that one up just because my concern is cracking at a later time, so I don't want to do that. I think that's all the areas. I'll check right here in a moment. And this side and this door should be good. After that, I'll mix the filler, and we should be good to go. You can hear me. I have a mask on now. We have our nacho cheese like filler here. It's a little bit more than we need, and we're just going to hit all those areas that are now like in bare metal. Hit those, and we should be good. I think one application should do it, but we'll see. Oh, and this area right here too is not so much in bare metal, but it's a high spot here, and I want to make sure the round levels off. Then we'll block sand it, prime it, and we should be good to go. I also have to do the other door there. I'm just going to add a little bit filler to the this part right here, just to make it look nicer. Alright, so I'll go ahead and add this stuff in, and then I'll see you. Alright, so there's our filler work. It's not the greatest, but the good thing about body work, especially with filler, is it's you can do it again. If you don't get it right, you can always add some more. You can always take it off. But I could tell when I was applying it that everything was coming out nice and straight. The biggest one, of course, is right here. There's one right there. This one, as you can see, I started applying it when it was drying. That's why it has this little texture there. The good thing is it's sandable. It's not really that important. It's right here is where I need it. If I need to, then I'll add some more. I thought I mixed a lot, but it turns out I just barely had enough to do this one right here. And this one came out very good. Once I cleaned it up to get rid of this excess there, it filled in exactly where I wanted it to be. It actually looks now very, very nice there. So we're now just going to wait for it to dry. After that, we'll go ahead and I'll use my DA to start the sanding. Then I'll go with block sanding and just enough until it feels all nice and leveled. We also have a guest. He decided to come in here when he was chasing a mouse who already left, but he's still here. His name is Astro. He's a pain in the butt, but he's also my friend. So he's going to stay here for a little bit. Once I start sanding, he'll leave. And so we'll give it a break a little bit more, maybe another 10 more minutes, then I'll go ahead and start sanding. Alright, so I'm about to start block sanding this. Well, excuse me, using my palm sander first, then I'll block sand it. I am going to use the vacuum system on it, which helps cut down a lot of dust and makes the pad last longer. I have a 150 grit right now in here. It's the 3M purple ones. They last really well, but they're pretty pricey. You can usually find these on a good discount on eBay and Amazon. So I will be using the 150, then I'll use my 220 to block sand, and then after that everything looks good. We'll go ahead and start on doing the primer, and after that, if we're lucky, maybe do paint, but if not, we'll finish that primer. Okay, alright, this is sort of how I'm doing it. So right now after I did the DA, I broke through it, pretty much got to this level like this, stopped, then switched to a, this is a sanding block right here, mostly because it's flexible. We have a curve here. Because we have a curve, this lets me conform the block to the shape of the door panel. The curve starts to right here and it goes down like so. I'm going at a cross H pattern like so with sanding, and so far it's okay. So I've done this area first. So you see right here, those things like that, that's because I did not mix it very well. And that's where you go with the spot putty or glaze and you put it in, fill it in. Overall, this one came out good. The dent is nice and filled. It's nice and straight. The one right here, it's hard to see, but it filled in. I put a lot, and it only needed to be filled in right here and right there. It's nice and straight. A little bit on top here, a little high, so I'll go ahead and sand just a little bit. But overall, that's good. Now I want to go to this side, and this one's right here. But so far good. Hand blocking is slower, of course, but you have to do it just to make sure everything's nice and straight. The DA will get you very close though. Don't think that everything has to be hand blocked. The DA is very useful. It helps with the breakdown of the initial. The top layer of your filler is always very hard, and DA helps a lot in that part. But yeah, but this one came out nice. The dent here is gone. I don't feel it anymore. It's just right there, those two glazed things. So I want to keep on sanding, and and I'm using 220. I'll go a little bit more on this one, then switch over to a new paper. A quick update on the process. One is slow block sanding, just trying to feather things out, feather the edges out, and also making sure everything looks nice. So this one is done. This one came out good. There's a little high spot right there. You can see. You can feel it. I'm kind of hoping that when I put primer on it again, that would help. But we'll see. It's very tiny. If I find some more, then I'll do another fill application. But if it's just this, and just this one over here, which I think I can sand some more, clean it out, I'll probably just leave it. This one came out very nice. So there's this big dent here. I added some. And it needs more just to make a perfect straight edge. But it actually came out very nice. You really can't tell. I think with the paint you will be, just because of this little crease here where the bare metal's at. But for the most part it looks really nice, and it's a lot better. It's not as obvious as it was. So probably add some more filler here. It needs it just to from here to right here, and then to sand it down by hand again. Yeah, it's a long process. I'll go and do this one. Got that one left. It was in the back, and this big one here. Okay, so I'll just keep on going. Man. All right, that was a lot to go out, but there it is. So what we have here now is door has been block sanded. You can see wherever there's the filler left is right here. That's just covering everything. All the excess disappeared. We have this one came out good. This one came out good. This one you can feel. No, this one's fine. This one on this side is okay. There I need to go a little bit again. Sand that part. This one here I can feel there's a lump, a little dip. It would actually, the primer may fill it. It's not that bad. You can see right there, I had already done filler work on here. This was a pretty nasty dent, and I had done some filler right there first. I did fiberglass and, not fiberglass, excuse me. Evercoat Ultra filler, filled it in right there. But I needed another layer, and I was just lazy and I didn't. So the second layer now is on there, and it looks like it's actually took care of it now. It actually feels good now. Right here, actually, it's a little right here, but I'm hoping the primer will fill that. This is okay. You can still see the dent. It would just need another one, and then you can bridge it between these two, and it will be nice and flat. But I don't really want to hide the dent there. I'm concerned about cracking because of this was caused when the door opened. That means there's no issue there with the door. It's right here. It's fine. Sure, okay. Everything looks like it's okay. So what's next now is we clean it up. I got some waxing grease remover. Clean it up. Clean my work area. You see all the dust on the floor. So I need to get rid of all that. It won't take too long. And I almost forgot. In this one right here, you can see this one came out very nice. Very simple. This I got to sand that off, but nothing major. And we saw it earlier in the video, and you can see the fiberglass strands there just filled in exactly where we wanted it to go. So next thing is just cleaning up and wax and grease remove. The primer here, I'll do that first so I can let it dry while I clean all the floor up. And then we'll do a primer. We'll spray some high build primer on the door. And just on this corner here, we don't need to add any more on this part of the door. So it's right here. And it will be looking nice. Okay, so I'll be back in. So let's try this again now. I'm going to do a high build primer. I'm using Roberlo Multi-Filler Express. It's a very good primer. I'm a big fan of it. It's one of those direct to metal primer that can be used as a high build primer, but it's mixed 4:1. A primer surfacer at 4:1, I believe, and as a sealer at 3:1:2. This is good quality, fairly inexpensive primer. These quart cans, they cost about $40-50 a set. Usually they're about $35, but they get you with shipping. You can get the gallon at 120, 145 range. And as I said, it's a very good primer. What I like a lot about it is when you use it as a sealer, it does dry very quickly. So you can get primed paint on the same day. Now, same thing as before, I'm using the PPS system, a new liner. This time I will be using the strainer. The other thing I'll be using is my 3M professional gun. That one, instead of the I'm using the 2.0 tip. Ideally I would use a 1.8, but I'm out of 1.8 at this time, so I'm just going to use the 2.0. It works just the same. The main thing on this one is we'll be doing a high build, so 4:1 mixture, and we're going to be targeting the areas where we put filler on first, and then we'll do an overall on the door. I don't think I'll need too much, so we'll do a 4:1 to be right here. We're just going to go to the 2 line, so 2 and 2, and we should be good to go there. In fact, that might be a little bit too much, but we'll see. Okay, so let me get this stuff mixed up, and then we'll start spraying. So we have here, we have mixed it up at 4:1. It's all set. We're using the PPS professional spray gun. I'm spraying it at about 28 psi. What else is there? Using a 2.0 tip. This is the last time I'll use this one. After this, I'll throw it away. So I'll just clean the needle and my adapter on top. So the way it works is very simple. What this one is, you just line up the 2 sides like so, and you just push down. That's it. And then you twist it, and it's good to go. So I'm gonna put the camera down for now. Okay. And you can see that's good enough. It won't always latch on both of them, but as long as it does get onto one, like right there, you can see it's latched there. And the other one, no, that one's latched, and this one is sort of. But as long as one does, you'll be fine. And you just test, flip it over, and you'll see it's not leaking. So we're good to go there. It is cold, so this is the last thing I'll do today. Is just this. I'll spray this primer, and that's all. Alright then, so let me go get ready, put my mask on and everything, and we'll do some spraying. Oh, also, the feather fill I ended up just dumping all the hardener I had left over in it, and it finally actually hardened up. So about 2 hours later, they finally reacted. Anyways, yeah, okay, let me get ready and we'll go ahead and spray. So this is turning out to be quite a first video. So I couldn't show you me painting at all, mostly because it turned out the primer started hardening pretty badly. I had to just keep pressing the trigger and the compressor kept running, so you wouldn't have seen much, but you can see right there. So this is one of the good things about this system. So you know how I said I was going to toss this? Yes, it's pretty much I'm just going to toss it now. We'll just disconnect it, throw it away, clean the needle, and this is good to go. Compared to if it was another primer gun, you'll be stuck cleaning quite a bit. As for the adapter, I'm just having it soaking inside some reducer. I'm going to have to add some more here, and then I'll go ahead and clean the inside with a brush. Yeah, this is the consequences of painting when it's cold. We had the cold weather snap here in Texas, and I stirred the primer, and I figured it'll be okay. It was kind of thick. I really should have just added some reducer, but I figured 2.0 tip will be fine. It was not happy. The first sign was that it did not go through the strainer, and if it doesn't go through the strainer, you already know you're going to be in problems. But I went with it anyway. So this is more like a video of what not to do rather than showing you me trying to do a restoration on the DS. Anyway, I hope you had fun and you enjoyed me. Sorry, some of this right here. It did go on either way. I was able to get some of the primer. I did spot prime all the areas that had filler, like right here. It had left the texture, and it didn't fill that area up. But that's okay. We'll sand it and do it again. Well, this one actually came out not too bad. I'll just sand it, and this one is fine. On this one, you can see the mess we have here. Look at that. I was able to hit all the areas with filler, and it was like using an airbrush. It really didn't do so bad. Like right here, this is nice and straight now. The discoloration on that doesn't really matter. I'll sand it down. I have some primer in storage in a warm place where that will take out, and we'll take care of this. All this will just be sanded again. Then I'll throw some sealer on, and we'll do the same process like we did in the very beginning. I'll use my dust dry guy coat on this and just do a quick sand, and everything looks good. Seal it and paint. Hopefully the paint is okay too. I'm sure the paint's fine actually. I'm concerned about the clear coat now. This is going to be quite an adventure, isn't it? But yeah, there it is, the 1972 Citroen DS 21 Special. No, they mostly call it the Special. Yeah. Well, in part 2, we'll continue on and start painting this again. Get the doors painted. And hopefully do something more exciting than just watching me apply primer and sanding. Alright, thank you. And I'll see you next time.